Okay, there we go. Get the right cameras working in the right direction. Got to have that just about centered. That looks pretty darn straight. Because if you if you watch me a couple of times, folks, you know that damn, if that thing ain't straight, it's going to drive me crazy and be a distraction. Happened on a podcast over there in the office the other day, and man, then I watched it on YouTube and was like, oh crap. But it's also one of those things that, you know, only I could see it. And this is something I think this in a great segue into what I'm going to talk about today, the leadership gap. You know, the leadership gap really comes in a couple of ways. And number one, it's you, the gap that you have in your leadership. And number two, it's you and your team. So let's talk about your leadership gap. That's, to me, it's self-explanatory. And what that is, it's where you are here versus where you should be here. Where does your team need you to be? And that's an interesting thing. So it's an acceptance of doing things the same way, of being the same, because that's what keeps you here. But in reality, your team, your potential, so we could do it, I'm not going to go physics on you because I don't remember it quite well enough to draw it up here. But if you are here today, complacent with who you are, accepting who you are, this is acceptance. Don't just be complacent. Don't be comfortable. We'll put that on here also. Comfort. If you are comfortable being there, being where you are today, if you're fine with it, another great word I've heard people say, everything's fine, Otis. I don't need anything. Everything's fine. That ain't going to work, because fine today does not equal fine tomorrow. Where you're at today is not good enough for where you need to be tomorrow. So if this is today, where you are today, your potential, and this is where people make the mistake, by the way, the potential and the need is here. And this is our gap. And the gap holds you back. The gap is defined not only by what your team needs, and that's what the need is here. This is your team's need. But it's also your potential. And your potential is, man, that's where it bothers me. It bothers me when I see somebody that has this kind of potential and they're living here. They're okay with that. And there's so many things that cause that. You know, I like to refer to it as as a gremlin. So gremlins, pardon me, because I forgot to shake up my red pen. I always got to have my red pen. Because gremlins are those things, the voice inside your head that says, you're not smart enough. You don't deserve this. You can't lead that group. You can't be successful. All these things, then the voices inside your head, those little sons of bitches that are just going, you can't do that. You don't deserve that. Who the hell do you think you are to be the CEO of a company? Who the hell do you think you are to run a successful team? Who the hell do you think you are to run a successful gym, an organization, whatever? That's the voice that we have to overcome. It's the imposter. It's the gremlin that stops us, that holds us and creates this gap that stops you from succeeding, that stops you from being who you need to be. Let me back up a second here, because I'm getting emotional about it. Like I said, this is the stuff that really, really disappoints me. This gap right here. I can handle these down here, right? I can fix this. This is you. You have to fix this, because you have to be the one who leads yourself. I can't frickin' lead you. This potential right here, oh my God, could you imagine? Let's pause a minute. Reflect on this. What if every human being on earth lived up to their potential, to this right here? Holy shit, that would be freaking awesome. We wouldn't be wallowing around, whining about things, complaining about things, blaming others, blaming systems, blaming people, blaming other businesses, neighbors, countries, whatever. Because we would be living up to our full potential and nothing would frickin' stop you. You can see I get emotional about this one, because this right here is the biggest disappointment I have when I meet people and I see this. And I see them living here in this acceptance, complacency, comfort, and just going through everything's fine. It's not. I'm here to tell you today that it ain't fine. And this gap, this leadership gap that you have in yourself between who you are today and who you should be, needs to be fixed. Now, reality, your potential, achieving your full potential, that's hard work. Dude, that takes some freaking heavy lifting. You better be hitting the gym. You better be running. You better be pushing yourself each and every day to achieve that potential. Because otherwise, you can go back, be comfortable, and just go through the motions in life. Be okay. Be fine. If that's who you want to be, don't call me. Don't join any of our tribes, because that is unacceptable at Tribe and Purpose. That should be unacceptable for you. You should be working each and every day to close this gap, this arbitrary reality gap. There is no measurement of it. It's not 1 meter. It's not 1 mile. It's not 3 tasks. It's not 20 tasks. It's the gap of who you are today to become who you can be tomorrow. That's the gap. And I challenge you right now to fill that frickin' gap. Work on it each and every day. Don't accept fine. It's fine, Otis. Everything's fine. Don't accept that, because you won't get anywhere and you're wasting oxygen on this earth. It's time to work. It's time to make yourself better. Quit whining, quit blaming others. It's time to stand up for yourself and close that freaking gap. Quit sitting in that goddamn lazy boy playing some freaking video game, binging shows on Netflix. It's time to take action, close that gap, and be the full potential of who you can be. Quit your whining, get off your ass, and put the work in, because it's going to be hard. There's no doubt in my mind it's hard. I know it's hard because I do it. Now, do I do it? Am I successful? Am I 100%? I don't think so, because I got that little voice inside my head still. But I don't let it stop me. It may delay me. It may distract me, but I don't let it stop me. That gremlin, that little son of a bitch, is always going to be there. And what you do and how you handle it, you have to do that. You have to overcome it each and every day, each and every action. Because am I really, tomorrow night, those of you in the Colorado Springs, those of you on the Front Range, hell, I don't care. Come on down to Exponential Impact. I'm giving a keynote tomorrow, talk about resilience, perseverance, discipline, and how purpose is so important. Because you can't do those three, resilience, perseverance, and discipline, without having your purpose. That's what my keynote is about tomorrow night. If you want to learn more, be there tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, Exponential Impact. But you know what? You know how I overcome this gap for me, this imposter? Like, who the hell do you think you are, Otis, to be a keynote speaker in front of these people? You've screwed this up. You can't do this. You failed at that. You know what? That's what makes me better. That's what makes me a great speaker. Because I know those things and I work to close this gap. I work. I put the work in. I rehearse. I practice. I pull it together. I rehearse again. I do those things to take that little son of a bitch, that gremlin, and put him in a box. Say, not tonight there, Mr. Gremlin. I'm not an imposter. I've earned it. I have worked hard to be here, and I deserve it. I have worked my ass off to get to this point. That's how I close the gap, because I want to be my full potential each and every day. Now, let's shift gears. I'll bring like I said, forgot how emotional I get about this gap, how much it frustrates me to see people live in that sense. But I'm going to bring it down. Because the other gap is between you and your team. So this one, we have to work on also, by the way. This ain't no cakewalk. It ain't easy. I just don't get quite as emotional about it. Because we talked about who my team needs me to be, right? Who my family needs me to be, who my community needs me to be, who my tribe needs me to be. We've talked about that. But what I'm talking about here is you are here and you're talking like this, right here at this level. And here's the problem. Here's the gap. Your team is hearing at this level. I'll give you a great example from when I was coaching rugby. Show the boys a drill that would help them achieve a skill, right? We're working on a certain skill. I'm going to show them this drill to help them get better at this skill. Show them, and then what do? Any questions? I'm up here. Because you know where the boys are? They're right here. And how do they answer that question? Nope, we got it. We got it, coach. All right, we know what we're doing. First guy goes through, screws it up. Bigger than Dallas. They didn't get it because I'm sitting up here, communicating up here. They're listening here. So as the leader, I have to do this. It's not me all the way down. It's not them all the way up. We have to find where we're at. And a great tool, I'll share with you this technique that I learned many years ago, particularly when I was coaching rugby, is I didn't ask them, do you understand? Because I can tell you the last thing a bunch of teenage boys want to do in front of their peers is raise their hand and ask the coach or admit to them, their peers and the coach, that they didn't understand. They're the one that doesn't understand. So I had to change how I checked their understanding. And the way I did that was I would ask them a question about the drill. So when you do this part, how do you achieve X? You can do the same thing with your team in business. It's the exact same process. Don't show your team the plan that you expect them to execute and then say, any questions? Everybody got it? Because you know what everybody's going to say? Uh-huh. Yeah, boss, we got it. Ready to move out. Got it. Huh. Shit, I saw that in the Army all the time too. Guys doing the same daggone thing. You got it? Oh yeah, we got it. We got it, sir. Roger that. We're moving out. They're going off over here. And I said, well, we're supposed to be going over here. Again, because I was here and they were there. So now we've got to figure out that communications gap, because really that's what's going on here. Between you and your team, this gap, and our team and leader, we close this gap here through communication. You know, once, several years ago, I had a client ask me, hey, Otis, how do you lead millennials? I said, well, you lead them the same way you lead anybody else. You just got to communicate differently. You got to communicate with Gen Z, Gen X, Gen whatever, your team, the way that they hear it. Not the way that you think they should hear it, the way that they hear it. And this is what being a great leader is all about. Because when I know my team and I understand my team and I understand who they are and how they hear and what they hear when I say X, do they hear X or do they hear Z or R? That's what great leaders do. They know that, they see that, they hear it, and they adjust. Because great leaders can communicate with their team. And that's how you close that leadership gap with your team. You close that leadership gap by communicating better, by communicating the way they hear, not the way you talk. Great leaders understand that. And great leaders know their teams well enough to do that, because that's what it takes. It's not some arbitrary thing. It's not what works for elementary school works for college. What works for rugby players works for business. You got to figure out how you communicate with your team. I can tell you, when I was a lieutenant and I had a platoon of engineers that worked for me, I communicated one way. When I was a captain and I had a special forces team that was under my command, I communicated a completely different way. And we worked on it. And I took feedback and I asked questions. I asked questions that provided thought, provoked thought, and checked understanding, not yes or no closed questions. I asked thought-provoking, open questions to get the discussion so I could get better as a leader. That's what you have to do. Now, leadership is really the bottom line to it all. And we at Tribe and Purpose believe that very strongly. I'm going to take a drink here real quick. Getting a little summertime dryness. You have to lead. And the better leader you are, the less gap you have here, because you become a better leader for yourself. That's where leadership starts. Lead yourself. Close this gap between where you're at today and your full potential. Achieve your full potential by leading yourself, understanding who you are, mindfulness and self-awareness. And when you get here, this gap will also close. Because when you achieve your full potential as a leader, as a human, you communicate better with your team because you can listen better. Because when you're a better leader of yourself, you can understand others better. You hear and can see others' perspectives. And when you hear and see others' perspectives, that gap closes. That's the beauty of it. It all comes back to leading yourself. Now, a couple of things. We here at Tribe and Purpose have a new tribe that we're starting. It's our second chapter of the Steel Men tribe. And if you're a man who's interested in learning how to lead better, how to close that gap and lead with masculine leadership and create an impact and leave a legacy on this world to make the world better through your purpose, then go to 10xyourteam.net. Click on, it's up in the right-hand corner. Click on the Steel Men Tribe. That page will open up. There's a button there that says apply now. Schedule a time, 30-minute interview with me to see if you are a good fit to be part of the Steel Men Tribe. Chapter 2, we're kicking that off next month, here in a couple of weeks. So get on my calendar now. If you can't find a time, text me, email me, and say, hey, Otis, can't find a time. Got any other times available? Because we are kicking it off in July, and then we're closing it. No more new members. It's your last chance. In that same vein, we've got 2 months before we have our first ever, the inaugural plank holder Brotherhood of Steel retreat at the M-Bar 5 Ranch. Yep, the ranch. You hear me talk about it. You've heard me talk about it over and over again. This is your chance to come down to the ranch, see what it is I'm always talking about, see why I get excited talking about it, and become a better leader of yourself, your family, your neighborhood, your community, your tribe, your business. That's 15 to 17 August. I hope, shoot me a note. Tell me you want to be part of the Brotherhood of Steel retreat. We're only letting 20 people come down. So those two things are happening. Now, near term, tomorrow, like I said earlier, I'll be on Nevada at the Exponential Impact giving a keynote about resilience and how what you learn in the military I'm giving this keynote, the main part of the audience is veteran entrepreneurs. What you learned in the military about resilience is your key to success in business. I'm excited to share. It's one of my favorite subjects, and it's one of my favorite things to do is help veterans succeed at what they want to achieve. So, starts at 6 o'clock on Nevada and Colorado Springs at the Exponential Impact. If you don't know where that is, shoot me an email. I'll send you a 10-digit grid, and you can figure it out. Hey, until next month, I appreciate you coming out, appreciate you taking time out of your day and feeling my passion about leading yourself better. Close that gap. It's good for you. You won't regret the time you put into making yourself better. We'll see y'all in July.